What is up, Pokemon people? How are you doing today? My name is 9 out of Ben, and as always, I'm back with some PTCGO stuff every Monday and Friday here on Derium's Pokemon channel. Today, we are bringing to you a expanded deck called One Shot Rats, which is based around this card, Eradicate, from Boundaries Cross, Super Fang. Put damage counters on the defending Pokemon until its remaining HP is 10. Now, I built this deck about 1 to 2 months ago, and apparently since then it's became such a popular archetype that this specific card has spiked to over $20 on TCG Player. Don't quote me on that. It might be a little bit lower now, but the last time I checked, the lowest one on TCG Player was damaged for $15, and then the next lowest price was 22. So this archetype is apparently getting very popular, and that is because of the recent printing of Triple Acceleration Energy. This card provides triple energy only while it's attached to an evolution Pokemon. So it can provide enough energy for Eradicate to do its Super Fang attack in one turn. Of course, it gets discarded at the end of the turn, but that's not a very big deal because a lot of the things in the format right now, we have big tag team GXs that 3 prizes each, and then it's still very much so a GX and EX dominated format. There's not very many 1 prize decks that do super well except for Night March, which we will get to. But this deck is built to one-shot anything in the meta and still have a fighting chance against those 1 prize decks. So let's get into the deck list. Basically, Ditto is a good card because it can evolve into 3 different Pokemon in this deck. You have, of course, Eradicate. Then you have Ariados. So the whole reason why you're putting their HP down to 10 HP left is so you can poison their active Pokemon, and as you pass the turn, the poison does 10 damage, and it's an automatic 1-hit KO no matter what because they're at 10 damage left after the attack. And then as you pass turn, it does the damage for poison, and that is how that works out. You may use this ability. Both active Pokemon, except for grass Pokemon, are now poisoned. Now, poison doesn't really matter on your own Eradicate. Of course, if you can avoid it, you want to avoid it, but it doesn't really matter. At 60 HP, it's going to get one shot by pretty much anything that they would play anyways. The good thing about Eradicate is it does have free retreat cost, which is great. So if you have 2 Eradicates set up, you can go ahead and just pop this ability, Poisonous Nest, and then use your free retreat to retreat to the second Eradicate. That way it gets the poison off, attach your Triple Acceleration Energy, and go ahead and attack for knockout. Then, of course, we have Jirachi. It's the best 1 prize draw support Pokemon. There's none that are better. So Stellar Wish is really good to set up your game early game, or if you start to lose out on your rats later in the game, you can kind of recover with Stellar Wish and take a turn to reset back up. Oftentimes, towards the middle to late game, this deck will run out of rats. Now, there is plenty of ways to fix that issue. One, we run Rescue Stretcher. You can either put 1 back into your hand if you're trying to get an instant KO, or you can shuffle 3 back into your deck. And we also run Karen, which is also great against Night March, and it also is very helpful for decks that rely on attacking once every turn with very low HP Pokemon. So, with that being said, we also play as Tex. We play Mew to prevent Pikarom from taking 2 prizes in 1 turn, as well as preventing damage spread, because everything in this deck, with the exception of Alolan Muck, has lower than 90 HP damage. Now, of course, we play the one of Alolan Muck because we're already playing Ditto, and Muck is really good to stop decks that play Cobalion GX, which basically cannot be affected. No Pokemon with Metal Energy can be affected by special conditions, or Virizion EX from the old Plasma sets, which say any Pokemon with Grass Energy attached cannot be affected by special conditions. Alolan Muck is the only way to take that out. So we must play Alolan Muck because of those 2 cards. It's not too big of a deal, but it is important to play those type of cards to prevent yourself from losing. Another way to get poison on is, of course, we play Hypnotoxic Laser. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. Flip a coin if heads. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now also asleep. Sleep doesn't matter that much, although it has saved me on turns where I can't attack, and I just go ahead and pop a laser to try to get them to fall asleep, and it's made them fall asleep and they didn't wake up. So I didn't get attacked the next turn and I had more time to set up. So sometimes that sleep it comes in handy, but really it's just a way to get poison on, especially in the early game when you may not have your Ariados set up yet. So basically, the Ariados, we do play like a pseudo 2-2 line. We play a 1-2 line, and then your Ditto is basically your extra Spinnerack or your extra Rattata if you need it. Your Muck isn't going to come very in handy in a lot of matchups. It's just necessary for the main thing that counter this deck, which if this deck gets very popular, I expect to see some counters start to pop up. Now, the rest of the deck is basically just making the deck very fluid and having counters to other matchups that might beat it. Acrobike just makes the deck faster. Trainer's Mail just makes the deck faster. Special Energy, you need these against one Prizer decks, of which you only play 4 energy cards. So if you only take 4 knockouts against one Prizers, you still have 2 prize codes left and no way to get energy back. So you must play Special Charge to get those energies back into your deck. It shuffles 2 back into your deck. So you have a total of 8 triple acceleration energy throughout your one Prizer matchup, which is typically very good. Along with that, we also have Karen to counter Night March. We have Faba to get rid of tools and energy. So the reason why Faba is very important is because of specifically one energy being fairy, the special fairy energy. I believe it's called the Wonder Energy, prevents them from being affected by special conditions. This could also just be a really good card against decks like Zoroark and other decks that use special energy to be their main way to power up their Pokemon. The deck does very well against those sort of decks anyways, but it's very much so just to buy yourself extra time. Honestly, this deck hits very hard and very fast, but it can also run out of steam towards the later end of the game, seeing as you play 4 one prizers that all have 60 HP. So you need to be able to have a way to shuffle them back into your deck with Karen or Rescue Stretcher. Install in the meantime using Faba and various other things. Now, one of the best cards in this deck that you want to use every single time one of your Pokemon get knocked out, if possible, and if you only need 2 cards, is Teammates. This is a fantastic card because oftentimes when you take a knockout, you either have a Rattata or a Raticate on bench. Getting 2 of any card from your deck can get your triple acceleration energy plus a laser or Ariados or Raticate if you already have Ariados set up. Teammates is absolutely busted in this deck. So with that being said, I think I went over the majority of the deck and how it fares against certain matchups. Of course, Mew, damage spread, Muck against those ability mons that prevent your Pokemon, your opponent's Pokemon from being poisoned. You have to play Faba to get rid of Wonder Energy, and then everything else is pretty much the same. Of course, Elm is amazing in this deck, seeing as Raticate, your main attacker, has 60 HP as well. It's a stage 1 with 60 HP, which means you can set up Spinnerack and Rattatas and Raticates, as well as your Ditto Prism if that's necessary. Very early on in the game, it's very nice as a turn 1 when you can have, let's say, triple acceleration energy and an Ariados in your hand, and you can just Professor Elm, Rattata, Raticate, Spinnerack, and then turn 2 you have a knockout guaranteed. This deck is very versatile and it can do very well. All right, let's get into some games with that being said. All right, gearing up for game 1 against Quantum EX. I think it was Psychic and Grass and Colorless as their Pokemon colors. So I would assume they're probably playing Lost March, which isn't a bad matchup for this deck. It's not the best matchup either. Taking one-shots against Pokemon that have generally low HP is not the best anyways. But, I mean, of course you want to be taking one-shots, but those are simply automatic anyways and shouldn't cause you to have to set up an entire deck like this. So this deck tends to struggle against other one-prizer decks, but it doesn't really struggle against anything else. Sometimes it struggles against Toad, Seismitoad, which locks you out of items. But even then, it's not that hard. So it appears not to be one of those decks. Also, Shrine of Punishment, great card in this deck. It means you don't even need poison to set up your entire field. You can just drop a Shrine of Punishment, get the damage down, and be set and ready to go. Let's go ahead and drop the Rattata. Let's go ahead and Acrobike. Let's go ahead and grab a N for some draw support. That will get a Eradicate in the discard, which isn't great. You typically want to conserve. We'll keep Rescue Stretcher. I might even shuffle that back in at the end of turn. Rescue Stretcher being a 2 of with Karen in the deck doesn't turn out to be too vitally necessary. So at this point, I'm thinking Shrine of Punishment down to get the damage rolling, and then we'll go ahead and play an N. Typically, a turn 1 Shrine isn't what you want to be doing, but with N, you have no guarantee of getting a laser or any way to poison, so you do want to go ahead and do that. Now, that is a great turn 1 as far as things go. All right, we are quite well set up. All we need is a way to get Eradicate next turn, and we have a knockout. We need Eradicate and a way to retreat, and we get a knockout here. So obviously this deck is not a turn 1 deck. You can't take any knockouts turn 1. It is literally impossible. But other than that, it's pretty nice. I've thought about adding in one basic energy in this deck as a way to, let's say if you run out of ways to get damage counters on, well, there you go. There's the Eradicate. Now, can we get a way to retreat on Jirachi and take the donk here? That would be fantastic. I thought about adding one basic energy in the deck simply because, let's see, let's go for Acrobike. Mew actually puts 3 damage counters anywhere you like. The Mew, what's the new set? Oh my gosh, I can't think. I just had a brain fart. Let's go ahead and Sycamore here. The new Mew with Bench Barrier basically sets it up. Oh no, we can't retreat. We can't retreat. This is not good. It's okay. We will be fine. I think I can go ahead and grab another Eradicate out, though. That would probably be the best idea. Let's go ahead and grab this. No way to retreat. That does not happen often in this deck. I usually do not have any issues retreating a Jirachi. But we do have Versus Seeker for Sycamore next turn and double Energy Lotto. So we should be fine. Or if he knocks out the Jirachi, then we're extra fine because we can just teammates into a winning formula. So Mew can hit the 1 damage needed on 3 different Pokemon in order to knock out 3 different Pokemon if Super Fang goes off on 3 different Pokemon. That is typically the old-fashioned way of beating decks that don't get special conditions on them, but I found it's not very common for that to work out as well. So I decided to add in the Muck to the deck. I figured adding Muck into the deck would not be too bad of a stretch. Alright, so it's looking like we are setting up really well here. I think the idea that we want to go with is going for another Eradicate on that Ditto. That is probably the best way to do it. We already have 2 knockouts lined up if we can get a way to retreat this turn. I do want to Energy Lotto first because we can Guzma for KO if necessary, but I'd rather get a retreat with Jirachi. There we go. Oh, we do play a basic energy. Okay. Let's see. Let's get rid of teammates and Guzma, seeing as we do have Versus Seeker in the hand. We'll go ahead and grab a way to retreat with Jirachi. I want to keep this option. Oh, I almost misclicked on that. I almost dragged it to the wrong Pokemon. Can I not retreat? Whoa, why am I not able to retreat? Why am I not able to retreat? It's okay, fine. We're just going to go Guzma. We're just going to go ahead and take the knockout. I am very confused as to why I cannot retreat. Is this some sort of glitch? Chat. I mean, not chat. I'm thinking about Twitch right now. YouTube, in the comments below. Tell me I'm a big dum-dum with a cam if I was missing something that was obvious there. But I don't think I was missing anything. I think that was legitimately a glitch. Alright, anyways, moving on. Triple Acceleration Energy, let's go. We have a way to take the win next turn if they do not drop another basic. So it's looking pretty good for us. It's looking pretty good for us. And there is the win. Alright, on to game 2. Alright, game 2 loading up. It looks like we're against a Water Fire Psychic deck. Alright, maybe a Volcanion deck. with some Lele's in there, it seems. That's what I am expecting to see. But of course, last game wasn't like that. Also, last game I apparently was playing with the wrong list, the old list. So let me explain the changes. They weren't monumental changes. I added in Muck and Faba in order to counter the matchups that counter me, and then I took out the basic energy, which is a grass, just in case you need to attack with Ariados, of course. And then also I took out, I believe, an acrobike. So not monumental changes there to the list, but that was the old list I was playing with. That is why there was a basic energy in there. I decided to take it out. I want to put it back in potentially, but I have not seen it be valuable in too many cases. Of course, that's why I wanted to add the muck in. Anyways, so we can go a computer search here. I might want a mail first just to see what the options are. I like that a lot better. I like getting a Faba into the Discord just in case. Maybe a Karen was better though. Let's see, because I'm not liking this setup too much. I can get rid of Eradicate, seeing as I do want to go to. I want to go towards a Elm turn 1 to set up because we have a full knockout set up turn 2 if we have any sort of nice setup. Alright, so we're going to grab Spinnerack. Seems like the best play here. And we're just going to drop Rattata, Spinnerack, and just pass turn, it looks like here. So it looks like this. Also, another thing I used to play in the deck was Battle Compressor. And I used to play one egg in Battle Compressor, but that was back in the version where I used to play Ultra Ball as well. So there's a lot of ways to play this deck. There's even decks that don't play Ariados at all. I found that to be particularly risky, especially against one prizer lists where you only have 4 laser and you literally, it's impossible to win the game unless you also come in with Mew and take 2 knockouts with Mew after a Super Fang. But that is just bad prize exchange where they're usually taking 1 prize per turn. You'd have to take 6 prizes, plus you'd have to have that Mew survive to take the last 2 as well. So that doesn't seem very good on the prize exchange. I'd rather play Ariados and have it guaranteed that I can take all 6 knockouts without needing Mew. That's, again, why I took out the Grass Energy. I just personally felt like that was a better play. Float Stone. Okay, so it's looking like this Jirachi is going to take a early KO, but they only get 1 prize, and they do only have 1 card in hand. So I don't know if that was... I feel like that play might have been a tad bit greedy in order to take turn 1 knockout. We'll see if they play a Sycamore next turn or not, or any draw support for that matter. So it looks like we're gonna go level ball, and we'll pretty much have exactly what we need next turn. Let's go ahead and grab a Jirachi. So this is where the deck kind of falls flat a tiny bit. It sometimes will get into that spot where if they knock out the Eradicate, you have no attacker next turn. That's okay though. You're usually taking 1-shots, and against the EX and GX deck, you don't always have to get a knockout every turn in order to win. Sometimes the size of the knockouts is what matters, with you guaranteeing a 1-shot versus just being able to outright have a knockout every turn or an attack every turn. I personally like this deck a lot. That's the reason why I play Jirachi over anything else, is I personally really like the fact that, oh, there's the Sycamore, so they knew what they were doing, getting down the 0 cards in hand. Anyways, that does mean no Blacksmith, so it means we probably will not see a return attack, but I'm hoping to find some way to get a Spinnerack here, not a Spinnerack, an Ariados here, so we can actually take another knockout. He's going for Fire Crystal, so it probably means we're going to be seeing a Power Heater here. I don't like the play in the Fire Crystal. I like leaving at least 1 energy in the discard. That way, when he does go for Power Heater, he can attach an energy from the discard with the Power Heater. Anyways, with that being said, I also, let me know how you guys feel about this. I know this is mostly a pack opening channel. That is mostly what you guys like to see. And I know old Mahone over there on Tricky Jim, big shout out to him. Love him. Love his content. He was mostly the competitive guy around here. But I know I'm not exactly competitive. I just like showcasing some decks that are not typically seen as tier 1 that I think have the potential being tier 1. I'm definitely a rogue deck builder, but also at the same time, I strongly believe that some of these rogue decks can honestly be tier 1. And this is one of those decks that I think can honestly be tier 1. Honestly, I take partial credit in popularizing this deck. Not complete credit. I do play this deck on Twitch a lot. Twitch.tv/9ben if you want to watch Pokemon live every single day. Also, Derium also streams Derium's Pokemon on Twitch. He goes live every single day at 7. I go live every single day after he ends around 9. That being Central Time. If you're in Eastern, send in an hour back. I usually go live after he does, and then he will just go ahead and send some people over to me sometimes at the end of his streams. Let's go ahead and take that out. It looks like he will be fine, though. Or they, or she. I don't know what they are. It looks like they're a male. I mean, their avatar is a male, so I'm going to just go ahead and say that. Anyways, so yeah, if you guys are interested in watching some TCGO action every single day live on Twitch, be sure to check me out there. Also, if you do play PTCGO, be sure to use the price guide. PTCGOguide.com. It will tell you the prices on all your PTCGO cards. There we go. That's all the sellout for this entire video. I promise. And I put it towards maybe the end? Question mark? The end of the video? I don't know. This will probably be the last game. I'm probably going to do 2 games, maybe 3. It depends on how long it's looking. I did like the first game as a showcase of how quickly this deck can win and how it takes prizes very quickly. This deck is looking like they will probably beat us, but that's simply because he's able to attack with a Worm Prizer the whole game. And again, this setup, this deck does not always set up the best. So sometimes you're going to fall short a little bit on games like these. We will play it out, though. I've seen this deck make incredible comebacks. All it takes is one big knockout on this Volcanion here, and we'll literally be set if he cannot find energy. But there's a Volcanion setup, so it's not looking like we're going to win this game. I would say Elm is pretty important in the turn 1 of this sort of game. I think Versus Seeker for Elm is what we're going to do next turn, and just hope for some top deck love. If we do end up seeing a Sycamore or anything along those lines, we will probably be Elming this turn and then Sycamoring next. Let's see. Laser. That's actually really good for us. That is actually pretty dang good for us. Now, the question is, do we want to take a knockout this turn, or do we want to wait and potentially be in a better spot? So I personally like a knockout this turn, kind of slow him down a little bit. If we end up drawing into something like a Sycamore this next turn, then we'll be in business. So I like a knockout this turn. It kind of slows him down a little bit. I was thinking about the slow approach, but the top deck of I believe it was Hypnolaser, ends up getting us a knockout this next turn, and it sets us up for future knockouts with the Eradicate if we are lucky enough to draw into some draw support. Now, do we need to play Special Charge? We do not. We should probably play that next turn and then hope we hit a Sycamore. That would be great. Alright, so let's take this prize card. Let's hope it's maybe a Versus Seeker. I don't know if we have any support. Energy Lotto is not a bad card to have here. Do we have anything? No. So Versus Seeker will not save us. It looks like our only hope is N or Sycamore. N, of course, would be better, but we are needing a little bit more cards here. Maybe N would be better if we find a way to get a triple acceleration energy off this Energy Lotto. Then an N would be okay, because all we would need to draw into is an Ariados, a Laser, or a whatever the stadium is. That puts 1 damage counters on EXs and GXs at the end of every turn. Laser. Wow. Okay. We are definitely catching up here if we hit this Energy Lotto. It's not looking too fantastic for us, but this deck definitely has some fight in it, and we miss the Energy Lotto. Sometimes Energy Lottos just decide the game for you. But we're going to go ahead and give this a shot. We're going to try to put this Volcanion to sleep, and it didn't work. Alright, it was worth a shot in the dark. It doesn't matter. We're going to go ahead and probably toss him a draw pass into victory, which is fine. I mean, the deck isn't always going to work out. It's still in the infancy stage of trying to make it as consistent as possible. I'm not claiming to have the best or most consistent list, at this very time. All I know is I've been playing the deck for about a month, and this is getting closer than my original list. So if you guys think you guys can do it better, give me some comments or suggestions down below and let me know. Also, if you made it this far in the video, maybe I should just say this. We're gonna do a Day-to-Day GX giveaway. How about that? Do you guys think that's okay? We will do a Day-to-Day GX giveaway on PTCGO, of course. And the way you would enter is, all right, Mia, we're just gonna go ahead and pass. The way you enter, this will be the end of the video. The way you enter is 1, drop your PTCGO name down below, and 2, tell me your favorite deck. Tell me your favorite deck if you do play, and if you don't play, just be like, I don't play, but here's my favorite card. So tell me your favorite card or your favorite deck if you do play. With that being said, I highly suggest you guys try playing if you have never played before. Download the PTCGO client. It's super fun, free to play. Of course, if you're not into that, if you're just into collecting, thank you for watching anyways. I really do appreciate you, and much love. Have an awesome night or day. I don't know. It might not be night. Right here, it's 5:25 a.m. because I am a night owl. But have an awesome day or night. Peace.